Hey, it's Quadex here. I'm here with the next part of What If Deku had the Sharingan. Get this video to 200 likes and I'll upload the next part. Check out my other quality what ifs. The links to playlist of all the what ifs I've done will be in the description. Check out the community tab. I'll be using that for polls to select what videos I do and more. Please like, comment Q, or any other comments you may have, like what ifs I should do and anime suggestions. Make sure you are subscribed. If you're not, click that red button and subscribe. And let's get into it. Izuku woke up the next day. Izuku woke up early. He knew he had to meet All Might Dogoba Municipal Beach at 5 a.m. That's not how it's pronounced in the anime, is it? Tell me how that's pronounced. I would appreciate it. I'm pretty sure it's spelled wrong here. I'm not sure. Beach at 5 a.m. and set off early to be on time. Right on time, young Midoriya. I have to say, your fight with Isaiah yesterday was impressive, and if he won't admit it, I'm sure that he was impressed too with your quirk. But as you heard yesterday, we need to work on your physical shape so that you can become even stronger, not to mention to be able to inherit One for All, cause if the vessel isn't strong enough, I believe your limbs will explode, All Might said while laughing. Izuku was happy to hear his mentor's comment until the last part, to which made him panic and scream. So, is this where I'm going to train? Izuku asked. Yes, you will have to clear all the trash here. Heroes these days all think about fame and money, while in the past being a hero meant helping the community without something in exchange. I did some research and found how beautiful this beach used to be until it became a dumpster. So I want you, young Midoriya, to clean this place. I see. I'll gladly do it, All Might, Izuku replied with a determined look on his face. That's the spirit. But there's something else I want you to do, All Might said, which made Izuku curious. I want you to go 3 dojos, 1 dojo per 3 months. After you left yesterday, Aizawa remarked that how strong you could get if you get some combat experience. And after watching your sparring match with Aizawa, I thought it would be better if you learned some martial arts. 3 dojos? Well, of course I'll have to work harder than anyone to get to number 1 spot in the entrance exam. Do you have any recommendations, All Might? Well, I highly recommend Muay Thai Jutsu. It's literally Thai Jutsu. Oh, Thai Dojo. Okay. Recommend Muay Thai Dojo. Maybe Taekwondo Dojo and would help too. And the third one, I'm leaving it up to you. Muay Thai and Taekwondo, Izuku murmured. But what about the third one? Izuku thought back to when he was fighting Aizawa. Maybe he can use a capture weapon like his, but I don't know the material his weapon is made of, and he won't have time to teach me. I also need something I can use safely without injuring someone or myself. Izuku thought for a moment before realizing what he wanted to do. I'll train on how to use a staff. If one day something happens that makes me unable to use my quirk, I'll need to be able to defend myself. That's a good choice, young Midoriya. And quite the reasoning you got there. Here, take this. I call it Aim to Pass American Dream Plan. Follow this and I'm sure you'll be able to pass the UA entrance exam. All Might, it's true that I want to pass, but more importantly, I want to be the number 1 applicant. All Might smirked and said, ha ha ha, that's the spirit, young Midoriya. Now get ready because your training begins now, All Might said as he pointed to some tires. Start by cleaning those tires, he ordered, and thus began Izuku Midoriya 10 months of training. He had to admit that All Might Aim to Pass American Dream Plan was incredible, as it did even include his sleep schedule and a special diet to follow. It was also hard, since he had to clean the beach early before school, then go to the my Thai dojo after school, then go back home to study. When you think of it, it was pretty hard, but Izuku made sure to follow it. The good thing was that after the sludge villain incident, Bakugo stopped talking and bullying Izuku. My Thai dojo. Izuku entered the Kendo dojo, and as he did, he saw an old man sitting at a table and drinking his tea. He had teal eyes, shorter ginger hair, and was well built for an old man. Hello, I'm Izuku Midoriya, and I'm here because I wish to learn and train under you. Izuku Midoriya, huh? I can clearly see that you need, well, a lot of training, the old man said as he observed the boy who was in front of him. I have to ask you though, why do you seek my training? He asked. I want to become a great hero, one who will save everyone with a smile, sir. I'm planning on getting into UA as my first step, but right now I'm too weak. I have to get stronger. Very well. I can see that you have a pure heart inside of you. I am Itsuka Kendo, and I will gladly train you, Izuku Midoriya. However, I must warn you that things aren't going to be easy for you. Daisuke introduced himself. Thank you very much, and I'll do my best, Kendo-sensei, Izuku replied, eager to start his training. 2 months later. For the last 2 months, Izuku trained as hard as he could, always pushing himself, both mentally and physically, especially the mental part, as it was very difficult for him, at least during the first few weeks. Izuku would go and copy his sensei's moves and techniques, adapting them to his body's weight, height, and physical attributes. Of course, he would leave the harder techniques for when he becomes stronger. Although it didn't stop Daisuke and his people's amazement on how fast he was progressing. They all acknowledged that he was some kind of prodigy, as they never knew that he was secretly copying their moves with his Sharingan, which also made him better at using it. One day though, as Izuku had just won one of his sparring matches, Daisuke noticed that Izuku became much stronger than before, but the boys still had some problems like his low self-esteem and lack of confidence, so he decided to invite a special guest for tomorrow. The next day, Izuku went to the dojo and was ready for practice, but was quickly graded by his sensei. Midoriya, my boy, come here, it's time for a special sparring match. He patted his head and told him to follow him. Yes, Kendo-sensei. Izuku entered the training hall and saw a girl of a medium height and a slim build. She had teal eyes, long ginger hair that she wore tied into a high ponytail on the left side of her head. Her bangs are split in 3 clumps around her eyes, and some of her hair sticks back in large tufts on the top of her head. This is my granddaughter, Itsuka Kendo. The old man introduced his grandchild to Izuku. Nice to meet you, Kendo, Izuku said while stuttering and blushing. Nice to meet you too, Midoriya, Kendo said with a sweet drop, taken back a little by the boy's antics. Itsuku will be your sparring partner today, Midoriya. What? But I can't hit a girl, sensei, Izuku replied nervously. Unfortunately for Izuku, what he said was a big mistake. What do you mean by that? You think I'm weak? Kendo replied with an angry tone. She didn't like when boys refused to fight her because she's a girl, which is why I decided that you will spar against her. Look, Midoriya, you have to stop being shy of girls all the time. At some point, you know that as a hero, you'll have to fight villains sometime. A weakness like this can cost you dearly in battle. Not to mention your lack of confidence and self-esteem is also an issue at hand. And you know it, the older man whispered to the boy. Izuku could only nod in agreement before the 2 teenagers took their fighting stances and looked at each other's eyes, ready to face each other. At least Itsuka was. He is good. I can see an opening, Itsuka thought. I can't see an opening, Itsuka thought. Is this really the right thing? How can I just hit a girl? I can't do it, Izuku thought. Itsuku was the first one to attack, as she started with a roundhouse kick, but Izuku blocked it with his left hand. This strength is real deal, Izuku thought as he felt the power of her kick. He may have blocked it, but he still felt the impact reaching his hand. His hand. This strength, his hand. I was right. His head, reaching his head. Itsuku then tried to land a punch a bunch of punches and kicks, but Izuku managed to dodge them on until he received a powerful punch to his gut, which made him fall on the ground. What's wrong? Is running away all you could do? Itsuka taunted, attempting to make Izuku fight her, but Izuku stood up again and retook his defensive pose, which made Itsuka frown. Itsuka decided that she had enough of this. If he wasn't going to attack her, then she may as well end this match immediately. She then rushed at him and elbowed his chest, stunning him, before delivering one last powerful kick to his face, which made Izuku fall on the ground. Why? Why didn't you attack me? Grandpa told me about how strong you are, and that you're one of his strongest students. So why? Why are you holding back on me? Is it because I'm a girl? Itsuka said with frustration. I just can't, Izuku began, but was quickly interrupted. Is it because I'm a girl that I can't enjoy fighting like boys? Tell me, how is it my fault that I'm a girl? Alright, I'll be back. Give me a second. I'm back a day later. Let's get back into the story. It's not something that I could have chosen. It wasn't a choice, she yelled with a sad expression on her face. It's not like she hated being a girl, but sometimes she wished she could have been a boy, if that is what it would have taken for her to enjoy fighting like she wanted to. Izuku was silent for a moment as he was reflecting on her words before looking back at her. He saw that she had visible tears in her eyes. What am I doing? All my life, people treated me differently because I was quirkless, and it made me sad. Yet here I am, treating Kendo differently because she's a girl. For God's sake, Izuku, you're supposed to become a hero who will put a smile on people's faces, not make them cry. She's also strong. She's not weak at all. I really am an idiot. Izuku then stood up and took his fighting stance. Hey, equal rights, equal fights. I'm sorry, Kendo. It was foolish of me to hold back. Let's have a second round right now. And I promise that this time I'll give it my all, Izuku said with a smile on his face. Itsuka looked at Izuku to see if he was making fun of her or something, but she only saw a pure and honest smile. Alright, but don't you dare break your promise. You hear me? She said as she wiped her tears and retook her stance, and rushed at him with a roundhouse kick, only for Izuku to swiftly dodge it and knee her in the stomach. I never break any promises or go back on my words, Izuku exclaimed. Bro, you're just rewording Naruto's thing now. Back off, man. At least someone who won't hold back on me because of my gender, Itsuka thought with a smile as she clenched her stomach. She then looked back at Izuku, who was already in front of her, and punched her in her cheek, knocking her down. Do you yield? Izuku asked with his hand outstretched for her. I do, Itsuku replied with a smile as she grabbed his hand and got up. I have to say, you're pretty strong, Kendo, and no one should ever hold back on you or he'll regret it. But you're even stronger. That punch really stung, Itsuku replied as she was still clenching her stomach. I'm really sorry, Kendo. Izuku kept bowing and apologizing repeatedly. Itsuku gave Izuku a light karate chop on his head before saying, Stop it. You should be happy that you won. Also, you can call me by my first name. Itsuku blushed after saying that. Right. Let's do our best from now on. Itsuku. You can call me Izuku. Izuku said with a blush. I called the girl by her first name, he thought. Bro, the amount of L's this guy must have taken. I won't lose next time, Izuku, Itsuku said as she giggled. Daisuke looked at the two teenagers with a smile on his face. Midoriya, Itsuku, this experience will surely help the both of you grow in your journeys. Or not, he thought, as Izuku was becoming red and stuttering mess from getting a hug from his granddaughter before he finally passed out. You know what? It's okay. It's okay. No, it's fine. It's fine. Izuku, are you okay? Oh my god, I think he has a fever. Grandpa, what should I do? Itsuku asked her grandfather, worried about her new friend. Just give him some space, Itsuku. He's just a hopeless case, Daisuke said as he facepalmed. The next day, a student who was especially amazed by Izuku's development finally decided to approach him. After hearing what he managed to defeat their sensei's granddaughter, who by far was considered one of the strongest in the dojo. The said boy had a tail that looked like a lion's tail. His hair was blonde. He had a medium height and a well-built body. "You're Izuku Midoriya, right?" the boy asked. Izuku looked at the owner of the voice before replying, "Yes, I'm Mashiro Ojiro. I heard that you defeated Kendo Sensei's granddaughter yesterday. Although she comes here from time to time, I'm well aware of her strength. I also heard that it's only been 2 months since you joined us here." "Yeah, I guess I was lucky," Izuku replied, smiling sheepishly. "Did you need something from me?" Izuku asked. "Midoriya, I want to spar with you." "Right now?" Izuku questioned, surprised by Ojiro's request. "Yes, please," Ojiro replied. "I also want to see that match," Daisuke said as he came to the training hall. "It'll be a good experience for the both of you, and you will be able to see how far you've come. I expect a fair fight with no holding back. Understood?" "Yes, Kendo-sensei," the boys replied as they took their stances, each of them trying to find an opening. "He's good. I can't find any opening," as expected of Ojiro. "That's for sure one of the top 5 students here," Izuku said in his head as he analyzed his opponent's stand, but Izuku thought as he rushed at Ojiro with a punch. "Ow, Itsuka!" Izuku shouted as Itsuka was holding a bag of ice and using it on Izuku's shoulder. "Come on, Izuku, don't be such a baby and let's get done with this," Itsuka said. Izuku grunted as his shoulder really hurt him. He expected Ojiro to be strong, but not this strong. He didn't last long until Ojiro kicked him in his shoulder and elbowed him in his chest. "You really are strong, Ojiro. You destroyed my shoulder," Izuku pointed out. "You're pretty strong too, Midoriya. You made me go all out to win, so don't underestimate yourself." "I definitely see now how you're able to defeat Kendo," Ojiro replied. "I kinda wish you didn't," Izuku replied as he held his injured arm. "I'm pretty sure that you'll be a worthy sparring partner. I think we should spar more often," the other teen exclaimed. "Next time, I'll be the one to beat you, Izuku," Kendo pointed out. The dojo's official punching bag or something?" Izuku asked. "May I spar with you, Midoriya?" Daisuke asked innocently, but in fact, he just wanted to bully his student. "Sensei, not you too," Izuku replied while the other teens laughed. And that's where I'm going to be ending it, you guys. I hope you've enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next part. Bye.